Welcome! Art Deco Society of the Palm Beaches 25 years anniversary. Oh my God, a quarter of a century. Woohoo! And who's been here before? Like, oh wow, and all the newcomers. Wow, you guys read the paper. I'm famous. I'm Sharon Koskoff. I'm a nice Jewish girl from Brooklyn, New York, living in Delray Beach, Florida for 26 years, this December 1st. And we are being sponsored by the Armory Art Center and a mini grant from the Florida Humanities Council. So we're actually, yay, Florida Humanities Council, thank you. And we're going to jump right into an overview of what have we been doing for 25 years, right? And I've never heard of the Art Deco Society. Who are you of the Palm Beaches? So we're going to learn more about who the Art Deco Society is, what we do, and not that much of what is Art Deco. But we're going to learn a lot about that as we go along. But I just have a few things here to show you. We have something here from the Florida Humanities Council, paperwork. It's okay, I had to work for a week to write the grant, so you have to fill out, you know, did you like the lecture? I love the lecture. So you can put your email on this or not, that's up to you. The email list that we have will only invite you to Art Deco events. It's not gonna, you know, go anywhere else other than my computer. But I need numbers to show how successful we are. The other paper that we have, you might have not taken this, we're going to do membership, $25 a person because it's 25 years. How do you like that? And you're supporting historic preservation. Usually it's 35 membership. So you get $10 off, coupon here, $10 off. They're at the front. We're going to have refreshments at the end. We'll have questions and answers. But $10 off, it's good till January 22nd. And that's Al David's birthday. Here you go, Al David. And my birthday's the 24th. But we're going to do expires $10 off. So
is that 2013?
No, 2012. Thank you for that. All right, so you got 3 weeks to figure it out, get $10 off, and then you get $5 off the bus trip, which is going to be March 25th, and you'll hear about that as we go along. So 2 things, membership, bus trip, but everyone, I really need you to fill this out, would be great help.
I think you meant it's a membership a full year.
Oh, yes, it'll be the membership for 2012. It'll be this whole year. Also, we have the book, which I wrote, Art Deco of the Palm Beaches, on sale tonight for only $20. If you're a member, you get 10% off. That would be $18. Anyway, I will also sign up for you at no extra charge. So we have great things going on tonight. And if you need a seat or if you're not comfortable, bathrooms are out there. This door is locked, so if anybody comes in, they'll be coming around, so we shouldn't be disturbed. We're going to turn the lights off as we talk about keeping Art Deco alive. Wow, that's a big task, isn't it? How do you do that? Especially when I got to Florida and they said there was no Art Deco here in Palm Beach County, right? So here we are. We have a website, Art Deco PB for Palm Beach, artdecopb.org, and of course my website. I am a mural artist, designer, an instructor, an author, a preservationist, and a needlepoint artist. Who knew? BySharon.com is for me. Well, it all started, had to start it way before 25 years ago, didn't it? It started when I was 14. I painted the first mural in my house, and there was something about this lightning bolt, this zigzag, this Egyptian line that I knew at age 14 that there was something about that. We call that a zigzag, a lightning bolt. And if we're going to look at all this Art Deco architecture, and it's all going to be just like this. And you can see green is my favorite color. In fact, I'm wearing green tonight, as a matter of fact. Green is my favorite color. Of course, when I was 14, let's see, in the 1960s, it would have been the olive green. The yellow greens, which actually we're back to the yellow greens now. This is also a sculpture I made in college, because I'm also a sculptor. And it all started with this ceramic Art Deco deer. And actually, I didn't realize, but the funny story is, Amy Kleiman, who's in the house tonight, Amy, she bought me this as a present a few years ago, and I said, oh my God, I have this. But how you connected with something that I've had since I'm about 18 or 20. I love this deer, And they call these TV planters. I don't know, that you put a planter in there, like a plant. Sometimes they had a light, and you could turn the switch on, it would light up. But all because of this, I started to know about this thing called Art Deco. And what is Art Deco? In 1925, the International Exposition des Arts Décoratifs et Industriels, somebody took Arts Décoratifs, Arts Deco, and in 1968, they took this Arts Deco and said, let's call everything from 1925 to 1939 Art Deco. So it could be a planter, jewelry, it could be a house, it could be a car, it could be architecture, it could be ceramics. We call everything Art Deco, 1925 until the war in 1939. So when I got my first apartment, right, at age 22, what did I paint? Well, I took this planter because I love green, and I bought green carpet, and I painted a very simple mural, as we see, just two colors, but it matched the deer planter. And when we learn about Art Deco, we learn about speed. It's all about fast, speed, masculine, hard edge, geometric, the straight line. So as we see in the mural, I use masking tape to make a straight line. Come on down. And this is really big. You know, I'm sleeping in a bed, right, where you are looking at this wall. And even when it was dark and there's no lights, the little ambient light would light up the white. So I would watch this deer for 8 years. I lived in that apartment. And I guess I couldn't stop collecting. This is what my house looks like now. One little wall on the staircase that Mark Smith, where's Mark Smith? Mark Smith is our vice president. Mark Smith built the shelves for my wall, and he's in the house tonight from Stewart. And you can see green animal planters of all kinds, and now I got some other colors going. This is actually, I remember growing up with these little pink baby shoes. So the ceramic planters and the whole 40s, 50s thing, fun stuff. So another thing, I'm a collector. Well, here I am in the 1980s living in New York, and I joined the Art Deco Society of New York. I designed this program, my name is in the program, all the graphics, and here we have the Chrysler Building, and let's learn something about Art Deco. Everything is threes, just like Egyptian, because in 1922, Howard Carter discovered King Tut's tomb. And by 1925, the International Exposition in Paris, everything Egyptian, everything was all the rage. So we see a lot of threes. So here we'll see 1, 2, 3. An eagle, the strong, masculine animal, you know, the speed. And in the background from the Chrysler Building, we see the Empire State Building. I moved to South Florida, December 1st, 1985, 26 years ago. And people say to me, oh, so you like Art Deco? Oh yeah, I love Art Deco. Oh, you have to go to Miami. Oh, you should meet this woman, Barbara Bayer Capitman. So I call her up. I said, I don't know. Some people said I should call you. You know, she says, young lady, send me $25 and I'll talk to you. I said, okay. So I don't know. I mail her $25. Now I'm a member of the Miami Design Preservation League, MDPL. And she talks to me, and what did she say? Come on down. So here she is. This was the only Art Deco book in the day, that tropical deco, that pink book. And we're looking through the books, but there she is. She died March 30th, 1990, at age 69, but she looked much older, and her voice was crackly and old. She sounded like 90. But she taught me everything I know. And there I am with a perm and a flower in my hair, and we're on a bus trip down in Miami. Uh-oh, here we go. She wrote a book, Deco Delights, by Barbara Bayer Capitman. And she wrote a second book, but passed away before it was published. So her good friends Michael Knurk and Dennis Wilhelm, that we'll see later, they finished the book in her name. Photographs by Randy Juster. He's a famous Art Deco photographer. And we're listed in there. They gave us like 2 pages. You know, all the other cities got all these pages, but this is, you know, very early on. And I was happy that we were mentioned, but we are in this book right here. Okay, so Barbara Capitman says, go find all the Art Deco you can in Palm Beach County. And I come back to her, my mentor, and I say, I don't know, is this Art Deco? Is this, you know, I don't know, this is like Is this what you mean? And she says, oh my God, how beautiful. We call this streamline moderne. This is like the late 1930s, 1939. And this is her favorite kind of Art Deco, because Art Deco is decoration, like in the Chrysler Building and the other buildings we're going to see in New York. But streamline moderne is what we see in Florida. Streamline moderne is the absence of man's idiosyncratic embellishments. So therefore, it's the absence of decoration, but it's all about speed. So we see these lines here called bandings, and we see rounded corners because the buildings are aerodynamic like a car. We see here an eyebrow. That's a funny word. Eyebrow, right? Because we're in South Florida. It's functional. It keeps the sun out of your eyes or you're out of a window. But very often we'll see new awnings, and it will cover the Art Deco elements of the building. By the way, the Pennsylvania is back here. This building back here, a majestic Mediterranean Revival building that the city of West Palm Beach tore down. It's called the Pennsylvania. Anybody remember that building? Okay, so preservation in the 80s in South Florida, they're still thinking about it, you know? Well, here we are at the Armory Art Center. 1939, William Manley King is the architect, and it was actually a National Guard, and this picture is in my book, as many of these pictures are. And we'll see a lot of black and white pictures. There are the old cars there, and there's the actual National Guard Armory with the eyebrow right here and the words Armory, which is very common in Art Deco to have the words, or as we'll see later, some kind of relief on the front of a building telling you what's going inside the building.
What year was that?
Someone has a question?
What year was that?
This was 1939. The building was built as a National Guard Armory for...
And they allowed black and white together?
black and white photos.
No, I meant
Oh, the soldiers, right. Well, South Florida, that doesn't look very well integrated. This is actually the National Guards. I don't know if these men went to war, but they were stationed here. This building that we're in right now.
because I thought at that time there was a lot of restrictions, segregation.
Yes, there was a lot of segregation. And you still have highly segregated areas in Palm Beach County. Well, anyway, Sharon Koskov comes along and says, this building is Art Deco. And they're like, what? No, you know, what's Art Deco? No, we don't think so. And I said, it's Art Deco. And it became the Armory Art Center School of Art because the Norton Gallery of School of Art got thrown out of the Norton Gallery and the school had nowhere to go. This building was destined for the wrecking ball, but it was saved. The School of Art moved here. I taught here for 15 years. Saturday, I was a youth art instructor. Right now, I teach for 8 years at Old School Square in downtown Delray. But I said, wow, let's paint this building. And there I am on the ladder. This is an old photograph of me, isn't it? It's like 1986 or 7. And we finished the building. This is the picture in my book. It looked lovely. And these are the colors we painted. Maybe. Peach, purple, and green were very big in the 80s, the colors of the Boynton Beach Mall. And this is before we even had this new door here. See these 4 doors? It was an old wooden door with one way in. This was the Armory Art Center in the late 80s. And here's the entrance. We all entered through a sliding glass door. This is before that. I put a little Art Deco design, make the door look a little more Art Deco. And this is what it looks like today. As some of you saw this picture in the Palm Beach Post. And how lovely was that? Now the building is painted light blue to match the roof of the sculpture building. We have a world-class sculpture building here. If you've ever been here before, it's great to walk around, take a brochure. We have this lovely exhibit here now, A Spectacle of Wings by Rosalie Winard in this room, beautiful black and white photography. But here we are, Armory Art Center this week. There were other arts buildings, it turns out, when I went to discover, as you read in the first chapter 1 of the book, Art Deco of the Palm Beaches. I dedicate it to arts buildings because I'm an artist and a mural artist. So we have here, this is the old Twin Lakes building. So we saved this. I worked hard. We went to Board of Education meetings. We're on TV. We're in newspapers. Look at all boarded up and, oh, it was a nightmare. We saved it in 1933. So that's not that long ago. The old Twin Lakes High School. And here it is what it looks like today, beautiful. And what better way that kids who go to the School of Arts learn about their history and their historic past and the architecture of early Florida. If you really think about it, the earliest buildings that we have here in Florida, in Palm Beach County, are from the 30s and 40s. Go find a building from the 20s, it's not easy. Okay, now here we have stepping down. See how this goes down, 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 and stepping back? That's an Art Deco term. Here we have the ribbon going vertical. Here we have the threes, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, everywhere we look. 1, 2, 3, everywhere we're gonna look is 1, 2, 3s. And of course the rounded aerodynamic corners. They now have reinforced concrete that allows them to make rounded corners or put windows in corners. And here we see some relief that will tell what's going on inside the building, and what it'll say is film production, communications, drafting, and printing. You can't see the picture, but that's what these little designs are. Norton Gallery of Art. Now they've changed that building a lot, but this is a side entrance. Here's little eyebrows, flat roof. A flat roof is always a sign of Art Deco. And here we have some ironwork. They put in this pavers. This is a maze. We just had a docent drop by and give me a tonight before this started. She brought me an Art Deco needlepoint. She couldn't stay, but she's a docent here at the Norton Gallery. Now we call it the Norton Museum of Art. Janice just stopped by. 1941, Wyeth and King. And on that we see these reliefs by Paul Manship. Inspiration, imagination, and interpretation are all on the building. And I made a painting called Interpretation from that relief, but I added my colors. And this was at Palm Beach International Airport for Art and Public Places, Palm Beach County. Here we have Stella and Nicole. They work for Palm Beach County Gov TV. And we've done a lot of films together with them. And they're at the opening of Interpretation, my interpretation of Paul Manship's interpretation. And here are Paul Manship's sculptures right here on Olive Avenue. And let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, stepping up, the ribbing, the fast animals. And here we have Diana shooting her arrow at her boyfriend, Actaeon, she was the goddess of the forest and hunting. And she was bathing in the lake. And he came upon her in the nude. So she had to kill him, right? What else could she do? So she shot her arrow at him. The arrow turned him into a hound, a wolf, and his own hounds, attacked him and he died. So that's the mythology behind the story. And the funny story with the Norton Museum is for years it was in reverse. Up until just about 5 or 6 years ago, this was on this side, and she was shooting the arrow towards Okeechobee Boulevard. Here we have a Paul Manship in New York for the famous Prometheus fountain. You watch it every day on the Today Show on Channel 3 at 9 o'clock, live from Rockefeller Center. Same artist, Paul Manship, right here at the Norton Gallery of Art. And next we have, my favorite building in Palm Beach County. And if you read that article through, it tells you that. Thank you. We have 1938, Roy A. Benjamin. It was called the Lake Theater. It was once called Pasta Palace, if you could believe that.
Horse feathers.
What?
It was horse feathers.
Oh, horse feathers, okay. That's another name of it. It was the Lanham Museum, the Palm Beach Community College. PBICA stood for Palm Beach Institute of Contemporary Art, owned by Robert and Mary Montgomery. Bob Montgomery passed away about 2 years ago now, and Mary Montgomery generously has donated this building to Palm Beach County Cultural Council. It's going to open January 19th, walking tours to the public. This is at 601 Lake Avenue. And it's beautiful. I just got a personal walkthrough last week. I have all the slides, and they made me promise not to show it to you. They were worried, and I said, no problem, I promise. But there's no reason why I can't show you these other beautiful photographs, because there's the artist in me. So let's take a look. See the 1, 2, 3s? And 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. It's like facing the heavens. And this picture here, this also was in Palm Beach County Art in Public Places, but they used it as a show invitation. And they didn't even know what building it was, right? But we all know what building it was. Black and white photography, just one of those panels in an abstract kind of photography way. And I'm very proud. Okay, very nice. Here we go. This is the inside, the Tom Otterness sculpture. This still remains in there. Although the whole second floor is now office space and the whole building has changed, but this is still there. And here you have the little fluted ribbing. Now this was done in the 1980s. And right in front of my favorite building is the famous fire hydrant I painted for the Veterans Day Walking Day Parade. We just had a tour. I did a female merchant marine. It's an oil-based paint. And the man just called me and said, oh, I think it's terrible that you painted the fire hydrants. You know, dogs do their business. And I said, but it was for the vets, you know, it means a lot to me, so I'm sorry if I offend anybody. There's 8 fire hydrants downtown Lake Worth. Okay, also in Lake Worth we have street painting, which was also my favorite festival. And here you'll see, there I am dressed like Yoko Ono. Lake Worth Playhouse had a play, which we're going to see next, the Art Deco. Wonderful town was Art Deco, and we did warm and cool colors, the warm colors being the oranges and yellows, and the cool colors, the blues, greens, and purples. And the old school square kids, they helped me work on this project. We need some more chairs here. We have some right here, and we're getting some.
And we have 2 more.
Yeah, the chairs are going to come right through here. We need four more chairs. We're good. Anybody remember this bathroom downtown Lake Worth at Coffee Gallery? Richie owned that. I did the men's room and the women's room in the Art Deco. And here you can see, here would be the toilet. Right here you can see the little banister. Art Deco bathrooms, why not? Okay, Lake Worth Playhouse. This is the oldest building on our registry. And this is what it used to look like. We call this Moorish Deco. Moorish Deco is Spanish. And it has a little bit of the arches, but it's still the 1, 2, 3s, and has the eyebrow and the 1, 2, 3. But it has that Spanish influence. We call it Moorish Deco. If you're on the island of Palm Beach, what's that called there, the building there? The Paramount Theater is also Moorish Deco. They try to tell you it's Mediterranean Revival, but there's nothing Mediterranean Revival about, you know, that beautiful tomb that's up there. Okay, and then a hurricane came and tore it down. And this is what it looks like today. I designed the Art Deco marquee about 3 years ago, blue neon. And I went to Lake Worth and I said, we're going to put neon up. And they went, you can't put neon up. And I said, watch me. Neon is Art Deco. Why? Because people are driving around. They have cars, they have automobiles, they're in planes. You need to see at night. What better way to see at night than neon? So we brought neon to downtown Lake Worth. Okay, we're still in Lake Worth, but in 1991 we had a wonderful play. It was called Deco Decadent Delights, and we had all this chocolate. It was, you know, go to the play fundraiser and then eat chocolate. A lot of chocolate. And here we have Gay Wolf, who moved to Alaska. There I am. Amy Kleiman's in the house tonight. Amy, old picture of Amy, my friend Joni from Jersey. And here we have, I can't remember their names, but they're all dressed up. And here we have Mark Smith and Loretta. Everybody's in Art Deco fashion. And we had a lot of fun that year. Right now, this is so amazing, and you're the first ones to hear it. First ones. I'm making the announcement. This is the casino building in downtown Lake Worth, and it's being built right now as we speak. It's not being restored because in 1922, G. Sherman Childs built this building. And you can see it's lovely, and it's a bathhouse, and it's on the beach. This is where Johnny G's restaurant was, if you've ever had breakfast there. Well, it's a lovely building. But a hurricane came, and in 1949, Edgar S. Wortman built this very modern building, right? It's kind of boxy, straight lines, flat roof, the eyebrows. Okay, really streamlined. Well, the people of Lake Worth voted. They said, which would you rather have? You know, the beautiful castle or the ugly box? So everybody voted for the beautiful castle, which is great. They're going to get a beautiful new building, but that's not historic preservation. That's like recreation of the past, which is all fine and good. Historic preservation is when you take an old building and you restore the elements. And in this case, it would be the Streamline Moderne built by Edgar S. Wortman. Anyway, so last year when they had this charrette, they came out and said that W.B. Eckler was the architect of the casino. And I stood up and said, who's W.B. Eckler? And they said, oh, well, he's the architect. I said, no, G. Sherman Childs is the architect. Oh, no, no. For a whole year, I'm trying to prove this. I called the Historic Society, I called this one, I called that one. I called everybody. Oh, no, it's Elliot Kleinberg from the Palm Beach Post, who spoke here at our very first Wednesday lecture series 2 years ago. Oh, no, W.B. Eckler. This week, G. Sherman Childs. And you know why it's important? Because it's in my book. I don't want to write a bad book. I did a lot of research on this book. I want my book to be correct. And it is G. Sherman Childs. It was announced at a planning and zoning meeting, and I'm calling William Waters at Lake Worth to congratulate him. He won't return my call. They think I'm going to like yell at him or something. I don't know what they think. But we know the truth, don't we? G. Sherman Childs. 1988, Barbara Capitman and the mayor, Stephen P. Clark, they give me an award for discovering Art Deco. Isn't that fun? And Barbara gives me the award, and they spell my name wrong. K-O-S-K-O-F-F. But you know what? This really means a lot to me. Anyway, Barbara said, oh, don't be silly. I'll get you a new one. We'll spell it right. And she died. And there I'm at the funeral with her son. And I'm going, oh, Barbara had another award for me. And they got it to me. But I couldn't find it for this presentation. So I like this one the best. This is the original. I painted a painting. There it is, the Palm Beach Post, black and white photograph. Sharon Koskoff works at home on a mural. This was for the Royce Hotel in Fort Lauderdale. I did murals, and they gave me a big party, so I wanted a new painting. I said, okay, I made this painting. You can see, this is 1987, woo, June 21st. Well, I turned these paintings into serigraphs, which are silkscreen limited edition. We have Drusilla. No, that's Drusilla, Melody with the piano, and the Jazz Man. There we go, Jazz Man. Those are for sale too. Anyway, it became the logo of Art Deco Society. So you're getting the whole scoop here. First we had it was Deco Days 89, right? And Mark helped me with that. I use it for my logo. I put in the word artist on my mural card. This is the one we use all the time, ADSPB, Art Deco Society Palm Beaches. And now I just put him in here for our 25th anniversary, 1987, 2012, ADSPB, the history of the Jazz Man. And here it is on the t-shirt at the festival in the Auburn Center in Boca Raton. And here's a black and white photo, because in the old days to get in the newspaper, you had to take black and white and submit. Now it's all digital and color and all that stuff. But look at this, we had this big art festival, thousands of people came, we had an art show with cars, we had a program, we had all kinds of events. WXCL television played Fred Astaire movies. It was a great time, 1989. Well, Barbara Capitman took me to Cincinnati, where I visited the airport. It's not in Cincinnati. The airport's really in Kentucky. Weinhold Reese, these are ceramic tile works in progress administration. WPA stands for Work Progress Administration. That was Teddy Roosevelt and the New Deal. And Franklin, FDR. Good thing. I was just checking to see if you were listening. Anyway, here we see people at work, mass production, the machine age, the Industrial Revolution at its finest. Oh, they were so beautiful. And we stayed at the Carew Tower. Oh my God, I stayed here. I gave a lecture here. And what did I do? I brought art and architecture of Palm Beach County to Cincinnati. And it was fabulous. And I brought back to the group the entire presentation of this Carew Tower. Oh my God, it's better than the Chrysler Building. The mailbox, everything is Art Deco opulent. The decoration of Deco, not the Florida streamlined modern. This is the Art Deco decoration. Also, while we were there, we went to visit the Cincinnati Museum Center at Union Terminal. This was under construction. We had to wear hard hats. We got special permission. We got a special tour. And this is what it looks like today. Oh my God, the concentric circles, the geometry of the machine age, and it's now a museum. So if you go to Cincinnati, fabulous Art Deco. Who would think, right? Okay, then I went to visit Boston. There's an Art Deco Society in Boston. Tony Fusco is the head of that one. And he took us on tours. Here they have these grand federal buildings in the financial district. And one of my favorite buildings had the metal works. Now, Joan Carr is coming in March to our Art Deco Wednesday evenings. She wrote a book on Edgar Brandt. Fabulous. She'll have the books for sale. And she's flying in from New York, all about Edgar Brandt and the metalwork. But we're still in Boston, the Stock Exchange building, the inside murals, Diego Rivera. You know, I love murals, right? How could you not love big art, right? It's an environment, it envelops you. And the very, very famous architects, Timothy Pfluger, he did most of the Art Deco wherever you are. Here we are in San Francisco. So I'm going to all these places, showing them Art Deco of the Palm Beaches. We're trading, we're doing, you know, connecting, we're sharing books and information, and all the Art Deco societies that Barbara Capitman started are all over the United States. They're in Detroit, they're in San Francisco, they're in LA, they're in Texas, they're in Tulsa, all over the United States, and all over the world are Art Deco societies. Anywhere there's architecture, 1925 to 1939. Golden Gate Bridge is celebrating its 75th anniversary. This week, they're having big celebrations in San Francisco. And we don't think of the Golden Gate Bridge as Art Deco, but the Morrows brought in the Art Deco elements and the trademark orange color. Now, Barbara Capitman gave me this slide before I went to San Francisco. And she taught me what is Art Deco. Here it is, 1, 2, 3 levels, as we see here, as a ship. It looks like a ship. The rounded corners, we'll see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What's on the left is on the right. It's always balanced like a mirror. Look at the stepping down, stepping back. Okay, it looks like a ship. This is that nautical streamlined modern that we have in Florida, San Francisco, right opposite Ghirardelli Square. Here I am in my hometown of New York. This is one of my paintings, one of my murals in New York. And we have an International Coalition of Art Deco Society Conference, ICADS, a World Congress every 2 years. Barbara Capitman started it. And I go to New York, I think this is 2005. Yes, and here's the logo for the World Congress. And here we are in Grand Central Station, Empire State Building, right? The grandfather of all the Art Deco buildings. And we say, how can that be Art Deco? And the San Francisco building, you know, be Art Deco. It's because we call everything Art Deco, whether it's streamlined modern, whether it's Bauhaus, the German version, no matter what you want to call it, it's really modernism, the beginning of modern design. And of course, the famous Empire State elevator doors. Then they have a black tie party at the Chrysler Building. William Van Allen. And I got to see at Baruch College, they had one of the parties at this conference. We got to see the original blueprints for the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building. It was unbelievable. So this is one of the pictures from that. Now, this is not Art Deco, but growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I had never been to the Statue of Liberty. It had been closed all those years. So I run to the Statue of Liberty, my icon, my lady, Liberty, my beautiful. And what do I find? This lovely Art Deco building. It's called the Ferry Building from 1936. And my grandparents, you know, from Russia immigrated and came through this. And even though I was at World Ground Zero at the World Trade Center. I didn't cry there. But when I saw this building, I connected, I cried. It was so beautiful. And they have pictures of all the people that passed through there over the years. I mean, it's beautiful, it's educational, it's our history, it's sentimental. They gave us tours of the Bronx Zoo, which I'd never been to. It turns out the whole Bronx is Art Deco. The whole Grand Concourse, who knew? And Joan Carr, we're going to see all about. Here we go, the Edgar Brandt Metal Works. And they're probably all over the United States. The masculine Art Deco, the Atlas. Remember, this was the International Coalition Art Deco Society logo, the World Congress logo. And here it was, Rockefeller Center. As a child, Mom took me, we go to the movies all the time, see the Christmas show, the Rockettes, and I walked up this staircase many times as a child. I didn't know what Art Deco was when I was 8 years old, right? I had to come back at age 50 and say, oh my God. Here we go. And, right, this looks just like the Cincinnati terminal. Rockefeller Center. And here we go. Here's the Can-Can girls. I made a painting. This was an Art Deco theater I designed for Admiral's Cove, Jupiter, one of several Art Deco theaters I designed. And here it is, the Can-Can ladies, taken right off this. And of course, we see my favorite deer. We see the circle that we just saw at the Radio City. We see the skyscrapers, all the Art Deco elements. Just recently, I went to Tulsa. I visited with Rex Ball, the president of the Tulsa Art Deco Society. He died just about a year ago. And I swear to God, it's so scary. I just got an email from him. And it wasn't from him. You know how people get emails, they attack your list and they try to sell you things? I just get an email yesterday, Rex Ball. Oh my God. And of course, I deleted it, but there he was. And 70 years old. Four daughters, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he gave me a personal tour. I went there, my sister lives there now. But look, stepping back, see how the building steps back? And all the beautiful brick Art Deco, right? That's so weird to see Art Deco in brick. We see it in steel, we see it in stucco, but if you go to Tulsa, you'll see it in brick. If you go out west to New Mexico, you'll see, they call it Pueblo Deco, Southwestern Deco, because anywhere there's architecture, you're going to find Art Deco. And a very famous building in Tulsa is the Will Rogers High School. Just beautiful, the stepping up and the staircase and the relief that we talk about, the mythology like we saw at the Norton. And of course, while I was at Tulsa, I painted a mural on my sister's house. She has a 60s house. Oh, it's fabulous, with like 60s plastic through the lights, red and gold lights, and original fixtures. If anybody wants to buy a house, Tulsa, with this lovely Sharon Koskop mural, kind of like a Parcheesi set, right? But still my Art Deco roots, my geometric roots are there. And then many of you saw this lecture from last year, Art Deco in New Orleans, still standing after Katrina, right? We had the blue plate building, the rounded corners, and the Art Deco lettering, and the vertical eyebrow. Remember the eyebrow? The flat linear plane? Here is a vertical eyebrow. It's now become like an arts co-op warehouse gallery. You know, all the artists live there, and artist lofts. This is blue plate mayonnaise, they call it out in New Orleans. And here was a picture of the building with the count. Remember? They had to go in and check the buildings for bodies. So we have the, I don't know if there's total fatalities, but on 9/12, to remember Katrina and all the people that we lost, we showed this picture. But here you have the glass block windows, blue plate, fine foods. Anyway, I saw it, I think you get blue plate mayonnaise here in Delray now. 1939, I discovered this building. Look at this. It was on the list of endangered. The chevron is Art Deco, and you have this color ceramic tile, the 1, 2, 3, the triangles, the Art Deco. Oh, isn't it what a beautiful building. Here's more chevron, and they're going to restore this building eventually. We're still in New Orleans. Here's another picture of it. I don't know what this, I don't know what these letters stand for. Here's the chevron, the tile, the triangle. My favorite building in New Orleans was the airport. Look, beautiful. This looks like the high school buildings, like the Twin Lakes High School buildings that we have right here. And this is what it looks like. Well, I was there. It's under construction. It's open now to the public. And a detail of the mythological, the sundial, the sun worshiping the wings for space, aerodynamics. And I just visited all throughout Florida. We have Art Deco. We're now leaving the United States. Let's look around all the other Art Deco in Florida. If you've been to Lakeland, oh God, I have a whole presentation on the Frank Lloyd Wright building. Look at the zigzag and the eyebrows and the geometry. This is a building on the campus. The campus is miles big. It's a college. And the same publishers, Arcadia Press, is a Frank Lloyd Wright book of this college. Now let's take a look at this. See these little holes in the building? If you're in the building, that's what it looks like. The colored glass that we just saw. Okay? This waterfall on this campus only goes on twice a day. I walk in 2:30, 10 to 3, the water fountain goes on and does a fountain show. I'm so lucky. Bus trips. Just last January, 2011, took a bus trip up to Bach Tower, Central Florida, Lake Wales. And that was a group from Palm City. I bring them every year. They're from the ladies of Harbor Ridge. And we had lunch at Chalet Suzanne, a historic building on the National Trust for Historic Preservation. They make the soup that went to the moon. Moon soup. You could buy it there. Canned soup with the astronauts. That's what they're known for. And then we went to the Bach Tower. I've always wanted to go there. I have a whole presentation on the Bach Towers. Here's the bottom. The 1, 2, 3, the ornate relief. And I recommend it if you're, it's about 2 hours from here. Lake Wales. Here we are in Miami. Here's Dennis Wilhelm and Michael Knurk. They finished Barbara Capitman's book. And they continue the Art Deco legacy in Miami. And I gave a lecture there of the Art Deco of the Palm Beaches. Here I am with Scott Tim. He's going to be our next speaker, February, first Wednesday in February. That's going to be February 7th. And this is a leap year. And he's going to be talking about who put the art in Art Deco. So it's going to be about all the famous Art Deco artists. People like Urte, although I did these paintings, they're homage to Urte. But all about art, it'll be Tamara de Lampica and all kinds of wonderful things. Here we are in Miami Beach, where we're going to have the bus trip Sunday, March 25th. At the famous Carlisle with the 1, 2, 3 and the eyebrows. Oh, look at these eyebrows. They go around the building, they stop. Fluted ribbing. We didn't talk about that. That's an Art Deco element. And here we have what's on the left, the right, the beautiful Carlisle. Ellen Mary Dixon. Remember the movie, The Birdcage, La Cage aux Folles? That was filmed in this Miami hotel. Now here we have the Cavalier. Remember the colors? The Egyptian colors are back now. The turquoise and terracotta. Okay. And you know, when you walk along here and you have these brunches at the hotels with the awnings, you don't even get to see the architecture along Ocean Drive anymore. It's all hidden. This is kind of what Miami Beach looks like now. The buildings lost their colors. It was Barbara Capitman's friend, Leonard Horowitz, who designed all the colors of the buildings, who influenced me to do the colors of the Armory Art Center. And the buildings are all kind of white now, and they're all under construction, and it's changed from the 80s and 90s. Now Lincoln Road is the big hot spot. But we have lunch at the Wish restaurant at the Tiffany Hotel, and the famous designer designed the inside of this, and he did it now in lime green and blue green. And here's Loretta and myself on Lincoln Road. We go to Lincoln Road in the morning. They have this great antique fair, and then we go have lunch, and then we go to a museum. We have a great time. We have champagne and orange juice and muffins in the morning. We have raffle prizes on the way home on the bus trip, and you get to, you know, buy or not buy all these great Art Deco antiques. And Lincoln Road is where Morris Lapidus, who built the Fontainebleau, he designed the Lincoln Road pedestrian mall in the 50s when Lincoln Road was dying. And I went to a lecture on my birthday, 1/24, in 1999. And Morris Lapidus gave the lecture, and I took all these notes about his work, and at the end I went up and he signed my menu. So I have the famous architect Morris Lapidus' signature. Can't read my handwriting though, right? And I keep a journal every day since 1977. Every day I write about what's going on in my life. Can't read a thing. And I want to switch to the computer, but it wouldn't be the same as the pen running through, my vein. And here we went to the Fontainebleau last year on the bus trip, $1 billion restoration. Not millions, $1 billion restoration. Oh my God, the building is gorgeous. And it has the Morris Lapidus, he always wore a black bow tie. He put the black bow tie, the floor, and the artwork, and the sculptures, and the lights, and the neon, and the pool. They have 11 pools there now. Last January, the bus trip, February 6th, was the Super Bowl. And everybody yelled at me, how could you do a bus trip on the Super Bowl? I did not know. So this year it's March 25th. Anyway, what do you think opened up Sunday, February 6th? The Frank Gehry World Symphony. Who, at the last minute, it was not advertised, nobody knew, on the bus trip, I announce, guess where we're going? I got a private tour, the first tour, 11 o'clock Sunday morning, right off Lincoln Road, of the Frank Gehry World Symphony. And now, it's very famous. People go there. He did the Kodak building. He did the Guggenheim in Barcelona. World famous architect. I got the first tour for my group. This is what it looks like on the inside of the building. Now, this is not Art Deco. It's on Lincoln Road in the Art Deco district. He does these postmodern, after modernism, these wild geometry. Well, you can't have wild geometric buildings because of our hurricane codes in South Florida. So he took, instead of building architecture outward, he built it inward. So as you walk through the symphony, you see all these crazy ceilings and planes, geometric planes coming at you. Fabulous building. In fact, we asked them questions. They said, I don't know. It's our first tour. And then, of course, I wrote the book. In 2007, the book came out, Art Deco of the Palm Beaches. They asked me to write the book the day that Hurricane Wilma blew through the Art Deco Society offices, destroyed the offices, all our stuff. And I said, oh yeah, I'll have my office back in a few weeks, because you still have to apply. Even though they ask you to write a book, you still have to make a presentation. 6 months later, I got my life back together, made the presentation, and the rest was history. Here's our book. Maybe? Something got unplugged? No? And we're back. Gary Schwan from the Palm Beach Post, 2 full pages of the book. Here's the Arts and Entertainment, July 1st, the book came out. They wanted the scoop. They wanted to be the first one to show the book. And here we have, we'll see a mansion in Flagler Drive, the Lake Worth Playhouse, now yellow. But this is before the neon, right? I just did the neon last year. Here's a building in Lake Worth, the church. Okay, and here we have, we're going to be looking at this house later, Linda Stabile. Right here, Linda and Gil are here tonight. This is Linda's house. She's on the board of directors of Art Deco Society. And here's a building that was white, and we made the yellow the new colors. But full page spread with Gary Schwan for the Art Deco book. Very, very pleased with that. I made a map to show everybody where is the Art Deco, and it's all in the eastern regions. Why? Because that's where the older buildings are. You're never going to see like Art Deco, on Military Trail. But you will see it in Belle Glade because they haven't developed the land there. Everything there is old, therefore the historic buildings are still going to be there. But all along the East Coast, the A1A, the Dixie Highway corridors, you're going to see all of that. And this is the first page of the book that I made, the map. All right, I think I'm doing this now. Here we are. I made a map, Art Deco of the Palm Beaches. Let's walk around. Let's do a walking tour. Here we are, Northwood, in front of Northwood Post Office. Here's Brad. Brad's in the house. Here's Amy. Linda. Who else we have? There was Nicole. Your friend Jennifer. She's in the book. I can't think of her name, but good Art Deco patron, the wine lady. And we started doing walking tours. This building right now is in danger. We called it Art Deco on Broadway because Northwood Historic District is on Broadway Avenue. And they're closing down some post offices, which we understand why. I don't have to explain to you why. But this one is endangered. And here we have the zigzag, the eyebrow, the fluted ribbing, the 1, 2, 3. All this needs is some paint, as far as I'm concerned. Paint it up, make it pretty, and it'll be useful again. Because, you know, the post office is where the community would meet. It was very important in history, and still very important today. Even if we have email and texting and fax machines. Deco in Del Rey. Let's do a walking tour in Del Rey. Here was a group of interior designers, and they all wore the t-shirts. It was cool, and the bags. We took them along Del Rey, and we stopped at a private residence, a condo, and we had our champagne and orange juice and muffins with lunch at the historic Sunday house that I just took Al to out. Remember I showed you this room? We had lunch at the historic Sunday house, Del Rey. Wall Street, we're still in Del Rey. You can't walk there, but we have Linda's home. Ruth and Ray Wenger. It's the Wenger house on 3811 Wall Street. And look how ahead of his time he was with the motorcycle and the sidecar. Okay, and his lovely wife. And here we see the 3 circles. And here's the windows to her living room, the eyebrows. Here, the eyebrows aren't being functional. Here, they're being decorative, right? It looks like a birthday cake with the porthole windows, right? The ship, the nautical, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And here we have in the concrete like a design. It looks like a brick pattern, but it's really just, you know, carved into the, and this picture is in my book, but this is what it looks like today. The Egyptian colors, the terracotta, and the blue-greens, right? You could see the sun shining, and here's the full house. So it went from those primary colors that we saw with Gary Schwann's article, the red, yellows, and blues, to the nautical colors, the blues and the greens, and some peach. 1, 2, 3, look at the triangle and the porthole, fish-like windows, the flat roof. Beautiful. Okay, we just did last month. Anybody go on that tour with me? Landmarks in Lake Worth? Anybody go there? All right, look how they're painting up the buildings in Lake Worth with the pastels. Here we're at the Clay Glass Stone Metal Gallery, which is a co-op of artists in Lake Worth. We had our refreshments there. There you are. Excellent. You stick out great. Raise your hand there, everybody. Very nice, thank you. Okay, we got into the building. Rena Menard Blades, the future home of the Palm Beach County Cultural Council, let us in the building. And all they would let us do was go this far to see the sculpture. But we got into a private residence, 101 Lucerne Avenue. I was in there once 25 years ago. We got the whole walking tour to go see the fluted rib fireplace and look at the little entrance of the Egyptian entrance, etched glass, and the blue glass window, blue glass, the depression glass. How are we doing here? We're doing very good for timing. Okay. And they built an Art Deco Publix, thanks to Sharon Koskoff. Woohoo! Suzanne Mulvihill, the commissioner, when Publix came and said, we want to put a Publix in Lake Worth, she said, well, we don't want this Mediterranean. Sharon Koskoff in the book says we have the largest concentration of Art Deco in Palm Beach County. We want a retro Publix, a decometric as I coin it, because new deco is decometric. And here they are with the wings and the neon, right? And here they were building it. They just built it. I got all the pictures of in progress. Opened April 2011, right downtown. Very successful Publix. Alex, there we go. Jet Setter. Amy just reminded me, we had Deco, dinner, and a movie. We had an old black and white Metropolis we showed movie. And Mike Jones, who now runs all these fabulous 60 Hawaii Kai parties in Fort Lauderdale, owned this. And this was a swinging place for swanksters, as he would say. They're into that whole Hawaiian deco, the 60s. And let's take a look here. We have these stepping down, the rounded corners, the glass block, the fabulous spaceship, which we call a filial, Jet Setter. Right now, so it just opened up as something else. I think it's called Mora. Anybody been there? I got to go check that out. But he painted it lime green and purple. It's the old Christine's building. But what Amy reminded me, when we had the Deco dinner and movie, we were celebrating our 20th anniversary. Oh my God, can't believe it. Here we are 5 years later. They're out of business.
We're done.
Okay, but in the book we talked about Belford Shoemate. I met Belford Shoemate November 2nd, 1989. I was teaching a class here at the Armory. He was fading in and out with Alzheimer's and memory loss. And his wife Bessie said, you know, I'd like you to come meet Belford, but not today. And I'd call the next Saturday. No, not today. And one day I called on a Saturday and I didn't have my camera. She said, okay, you can come, but for 1 hour. So I meet Belford, and what I didn't expect was that he had long hair like an Indian. This is, you know, a young picture of him. I meet him, and I said, oh, you know, tell me about the house in Palm Beach. Tell me about 162 Peruvian. Tell me about 2631 Flagler. Tell me, you know, and they're telling me all these stories. And he faded in, and Bessie did most of the talking. But do you know, all of a sudden, he looked at his watch, and he said, young lady, your hour is up. And actually, Dennis and Michael from Miami, they went and met him. They taped it, they filmed it, they took pictures. They have all that. I hate them. How could they do that to me? But I know I met with Belford. And he died on his 88th birthday in June. Here's one of the houses he built, the 140 Monroe Drive, and we had several parties here, the home of Jean and Sumner Draper. Here they had this vitrolite, this glass tile on the nautical building. See, it's yellow and blue with the white building. And here's more vitrolite, 140 Monroe Drive, right here in West Palm. The back of the house, just like a ship, right? The steep steps, the nautical railing, the flat roof, the triangles. 2631 Flagler Drive, the Richard Wagner house. Wagner, excuse me, the Wagner house. Linda's is the Wagner house. And here we see stylized water, because Art Deco is all about stylizing, simplification, elongation. And we see the water elongated. Now see this? This was W was the Wagner house. The people that own it now are the Marshmans. They took it upside down. They turned the W into an M. Brilliant. Wagner house turned to Marshman house. And this is inside a beautiful Belford Shoemate staircase, the grand Art Deco staircase. Now, this is the home of Kirby Kalouris. He was very active in Art Deco, and he owned this mansion by Belford Shoemate. And there we see the 123, just like Linda's house. And look how it looks like a ship. This is facing the Intracoastal Waterway. Inside, he had all the Art Deco furniture and the big porthole windows. Here we see glass block and Art Deco furniture and the beautiful flooring. Well, Kirby moved to Stewart, up where Mark lives in Martin County. I went to visit him a few months ago, and this is his new house. He sold that house for $7 million, by the way. Bought a new house. His mother was an Isadora Duncan dancer from the 20s. And he has all his uncle's murals, Nathan Dolinsky, all over the house. This is winter, spring, summer, fall. Details with the peacock and the cool colors. And all the figurative, you know, all those mythological murals that we saw all over the house. Hundreds of paintings. His house is a museum. And then Schenkel Schultz built a school, and I have hundreds of murals in Palm Beach County Public Schools, but they built an Art Deco school. And the book, the article came out with Gary Schwann. Schenkel Schultz calls me and says, oh, Sharon Koskoff, you're the author of an Art Deco book. Well, guess what? We built an Art Deco school. And then I said, guess what? I'm the artist who painted 50 murals there. Get with the program, Schenkel Schultz. Here it is right in the administration. We did an Art Deco car. And there's my dad working with me on the mural on the ladder. Papa is going to be 88. He has Alzheimer's now, unfortunately. But look at this library, media center. Even the furniture was Art Deco. Look, the rounded corners, the banding. And here we have the colors, the terracottas and the blues. Hallway after hallway. I have about 50 murals in the school. Everywhere, the gymnasium, the media center, the hallways, the staircases. Indian Ridge Elementary School called me up. We want Art Deco murals. There I am painting the sun, just like Radio City Music Hall. Everywhere, the whole school, also about maybe 100 murals in there. Even these little circles in the library where the colors just, you know, each one has its own little line and zigzag and geometric. And no one's seen these murals before, but you guys. But now we're going to talk about preservation. This is A.G. Holly Sanatorium. It's endangered. This was built in 1950. This is on Lantana Road. Reynolds, Smith, and Hills are the architect. Do you know they're the architects that built Cape Canaveral, which we now call, what they call the Kennedy Center, or they're called back to Cape Canaveral? All of our space centers, all of our airports are built by these significant architects who built this sanatorium. And here you see the tuberculosis, the health logo, the glass block, the eyebrows. They just spent $1 million. They did repaint it. But the state of Florida owns it. They want to tear it down. The land is worth a fortune. There is asbestos in this building. Right now it's contained. You tear it down, where's the asbestos going to go? So we got to keep our eye out on this building and hope that it doesn't get torn down. The casino, we already know, they're restoring it, but not to the Edgar S. Wortman, but we know who built it, right? G. Sherman Childs, 1922. And the granddaughter of G. Sherman Childs just emailed me and said, you know, we'd like to put a plaque up, you know, dedicated to our grandfather, G. Sherman Childs, you know, but they're saying W.B. Eckler, and I just reported to her, as you know. She's so happy. But the coincidence is she works in North Carolina, an environmental building. The commissioner there is W.B. Eckler's grandson. So they're having this little rivalry here. So now she's able to say, no, it's G. Sherman Childs, but Eckler is known for building all of the concrete buildings in Lake Worth. So we get to educate everybody. Here we have Boss, which is the Boynton High School, built by William Manley King, who built this building. And it's kind of Mediterranean revival. But they keep calling it Art Deco, which is funny. I think they just want me to help them save it, which I'm there for them. Because Art Deco Society is not just about Art Deco architecture. It's about all the architecture and all of our history in South Florida. And this high school needs to be saved, but they just don't know what to do with it. This needs to become an old school square. It needs to become an Armory Art Center. It needs to become a civic building that supports the arts, both visual and performing arts, and that will help Boynton get back on the map. Boynton tore down their historic Ocean Avenue. All the buildings were leveled, and they never rebuilt anything. So we have to help Boynton and keep our eyes out. Otherwise, you'll see signs like this, demolition in progress. And you'll see them tear down this Art Deco hotel that was in Palm Beach. And this is what that hotel looked like the next day. I went there just to get this picture. But things are looking up. Every day I discover new buildings. This week, Beautiful building in Northwood. Look at this, the eyebrow, the little Egyptian entrances. And this building. So when you find a building, call me up, say, Sharon, I found another one. I could write another book, 2 books with all the buildings I've discovered just lately. This is a fabulous building. Look, I love this. So my message to you is, save our history and keep the art in Art Deco. Thank you.